The key inspiration for this work was, I would say, the painting is painted over an old painting which I thought seemed unfinished. Even though when I did it, I titled it and thought of it as a finished work. When I went back and looked at it, it was too plain and simple for my liking, so I decided to rework it. And that's part of my general project as part of my PhD, where I'm trying to expand my medium and practice more, and rather than look at works as finished works once they're done, I can go back and rework them or take the painting off the stretcher and reuse things a bit more. So it was sort of done in that spirit. And the original form was just a kind of a triangular organic shape in beige on a brown sort of ground, and that suggested a torso and a head to me, I think, as I worked on it. So I really worked with the form of the original painting itself and let that tell me what to do next. I think it actually evolved over time. In terms of communicating concepts in my artwork, I try to avoid communicating anything. That's my primary aim, is to create something that's empty. So there's no particular concept that relates to that work other than an overall concept. I think of my practice as a project on a whole. So with the PhD, again, I was looking at the idea of the end of art as a modernist theorisation of art and trying to carry that into the contemporary moment, or look at how you practice contemporary art in relation to that historical idea of art that has a self-questioning project, which seems to be over via the self-questioning of the art object of its own properties within the contemporary moment. So the concept for the project as a whole is trying to comment on art itself and how to practice art that refers to itself at a time when that seems to be no longer possible post the modernist project. The techniques I used in this painting are fairly traditional painting techniques, but I think what's interesting or innovative perhaps about how I approach this work, which actually is quite different to a lot of other work I've made, so it's an unusual one for me. The main thing that's innovative, at least in my practice, is that I did work on an older work and develop it without much of an end result in mind. So I let the material or the object almost make itself as I went along. But what I most like about the work is there's a black sort of background at the top which looks like smoke, or it's actually the head of me. It's a self-portrait. And I can't remember exactly how I did it, but I know I did a lot of brush strokes and textural things underneath, and then finally got black oil stick and rubbed that all over the top, which gave it an interesting texture, and that was new for me, at least. Probably not that new for most artists, but yeah, for my practice it's an unusual approach.